coming straight up out the struggle, watch the killer state. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate. Red or blue rag, keep the pistol in the waist. North or south, put the blood, shit, they know to spray. And all the Asian homies even know to pack the K. And all the pasajeros know to move the way. And shit gets scandalous, how these bodies dropping every day. And all for piling money, homie, I know what a shame. But this is just the way it is, so I stay with the gauge. In case they want it, they can get it, we don't hesitate. I know it's strange, on the simple fact you can't relate. But you don't know my pain. I keep it by the G code until my dying day. Cause that's just life up in the hood, out the killer state. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate. I keep it by the G code until my dying day. Cause that's just life up in the hood, out the killer state. It's California, homie, where they know to regulate.
What's good, G-Life? Now let's keep this volo moving. You know what I mean? Now, to continue the list of all boy neighborhoods, starting off, we will be heading our way to the section that is known as the Low Bottoms. For those who are familiar with the area of Los Angeles, you know that the Low Bottoms is a section that's located in South Central Los Angeles in the Low Bottoms. You know, this area is definitely treacherous, chaotic. Homie, this shit be going down, homie. This is the gritty, grimy down here, homie. You know what I mean? It's definitely a battle zone. Sad but true. Now, the Low Bottoms is home to one of these, you know, well-known, well-documented neighborhoods within this area, which is known as the Barrio GBZ. Barrio GBZ, translating to Barrio Ghetto Boys, them ghetto lifers. You know, GBZ is already you know, well-established neighborhood that has, you know, its reputation right here in this area. You know what I mean? People, you know, are familiar with this neighborhood. It's, you know, it's pretty large, you know, in size. You know, there are a few hundred members to them, and that the territory is not even that, you know, that big, because in that area, like I said, it gets treacherous just because you have so many different gangs right there. You know, you got the Plantons, you got the Primeras, you got the Street Saints, you got the, you know, the Rolling Outlaw Bloods, you got the, you know, the Bloodstone Pyrus, you have the 41st Streeters, 36, you have everybody and their mother right here. You know, so it does get chaotic, and, you know, you could already imagine. And the Ghetto Boys have been right here maintaining and holding it down. And their territory is everything that's from Main Street to Adams. Adams, their territory still extends all the way to San Pedro Street, all the way to 30th Street, and back to Main. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. So throughout 29th, throughout 28th, throughout 27th, throughout Maple, which is obviously, you know, the heart of the hood right there. That's why you see the 27th Street, you know, because they do have several clicas, you know what I mean? And throughout Trinity Street. Obviously, Trinity Street's another, you know, hot zone right there, man. It definitely goes down, homie. That I am gonna tell you. And right here, where the Trinity Park's at, you know what I mean? This is the battle zone, obviously, because you have so many different neighborhoods right here, jam-packed in this area. There's hardly no breathing room, and you have the park, so, you know, individuals tend to clash at the park. This has made headlines already for so many shootings and deaths already at that park, you know, because, you know, there's been, like, heavy feuds between, like, Primeras and Ghetto Boys, because of, you know, there's no breathing room, you know what I mean? And they both claim the park, so you could already imagine how it'd be going down right there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, law enforcement be trying, you know, to crack down. Like I said, it definitely goes down, you know what I mean? Because the Ghetto Boys, like I said, there are a few hundred members. They've been known to hold it down and put it down for theirs, you know, right here in this area. They ain't no suckers. And this is the neighborhood of the rapper Little Silent from Ghetto Boys, you know what I mean? He has music on here on YouTube that you guys can scope out. You know, the individual definitely has talent. Him and his I think I have his carnales or his homeboys, whatever. But they do rap and they get down. They have skills, you know what I mean? Go peek them out. I remember bumping homies you know, tape back in the days, you know what I'm saying? You know, individual definitely always had talent. And you can find his music right here on, you know, YouTube. But yeah, that's what's up with the Barrio GBZ holding it down for the ghetto. Now, as we maintain ourselves still right here in the area of South Central, like I said, South Central is just home to a gang of these barrios. Heading more deeper into South Central, near the Watts area is where we're able to find the next barrio on the list, which is known as the Barrio WBS, not to be confused with Willis Boys or Wicked Boys. This barrio is known as the Barrio Wild Boys. Wild Boys is a neighborhood that's been right here established in South Central since the late 80s, early 90s, when this neighborhood was established right here within this area. The Wild Boys, their territory, you could find them, their stomping grounds where they roam around is on 101st Street or Clovis. Obviously, Clovis being the heart of their hood, their domain, their dojo, where they hold it down, and have been holding it down. Often, people forget about this barrio, and it is a real barrio because I have heard individuals try to say, nah, it's fake, or it was a crew, or nah, it was black. Nah. They're a real neighborhood and have been right there, holding it down. Definitely going at it with, all the other neighborhoods, around them, like mostly like a lot of Watts neighborhoods too. You see the back and forth and stuff like that because, like I said, there's no breathing room right there. Just you have so many different neighborhoods jam packed within that area. Not just with Hispanics, but also with black neighborhoods as well, because you have a lot of blood sets right there. And man, it just be going down. It be chaotic in this area. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, the Wild Boys have been right there established and have been, doing their thing, despite what individuals want to say, because this neighborhood was never a large neighborhood. At least from what I was told, that this neighborhood was roughly only about 50 members to them. But nonetheless, real members that have held it down, and not just here they're just 50 like here in South Central, but they also have another established clique in Mexico. You know what I mean? So they're just not located here in South Central in the United States, but also in Mexico. They have another branch over there. With, at least from what I was told, that over there like about 20 to 30 members. So you're looking at a like about roughly about 80 members to them as a whole. That hold it down for their barrio, and have been and continue to still represent for theirs, because, I heard people try to say, they're inactive and stuff. Nah, they have members that still hold it down. Like I said, you're always going to have individuals that are just going to dislike these, individuals and want to, say whoopty whoopty wah. But that don't make it facts, you know what I mean? Those are the facts. You may not like it, but it is what it is. And that's what's up with the South Central WBS, the Wild Boys, and continue to still hold it down and rep it for theirs and putting theirs on the map, you know what I mean? Now, as we continue right here in South Central, another neighborhood that we have right here that's a boy neighborhood, like I said, this area is just full of a gang of neighborhoods, a lot of boy neighborhoods. Now, for this one, we actually have to make our way down to a little bit more down into South Central, where we're able to find the barrio WNBS, translating to Barrio Washington Boys. Now, Washington Boys is a neighborhood that's right here in South Central that has been well established right here since the 80s. And this neighborhood often gets confused. People often thinks that this neighborhood is a different neighborhood from the Washington Locals, because, there's a Washington Locals. But as a matter of fact, the Washington Boys gang and the Washington Locals gang is the same hood. It's the same gang. They got a locals clique, sometimes they write it like that, but essentially the name of the barrio is Washington Boys, but you could see it up as Washington Locals, but it's the same thing. So they're not two different neighborhoods like people think they are. It's just that, it could be written both ways. But essentially the neighborhood, when it was established, the actual name for the barrio is actually Washington Boys. And this is a real neighborhood that has been well established right here, like I said, in South Central since the 80s. And it was always roughly a small neighborhood because, like I said, this area is just jam-packed full of so many different gangs. You get what I'm saying? At least from what I was told, that this neighborhood was roughly always about 30 to 40 members to them. Now, that's just here in South Central. But this is not the only place in which their barrio is located at, because their barrio is located in several different locations. At least from what I was told, they're located in Washington and they're located in Seattle, Utah. At least from what I was told, you know what I mean? That they're well established over there, and that they're actually a pretty decent size, like in Seattle, you know what I mean? Well-known dominant presence, over there. So they're just not right here, located right here. But this is where they originated from. This is their birthplace, not Washington State, like I was saying some individuals put. No, they mean Washington, the street right here, because they were located on Washington and Maine. You know what I mean? That is their heart of the hood, their dojo. That's where they get it on and cracking. Like I said, and right here, you normally don't see them up as much as you do some of these other sets, but there's a real neighborhood, and they still have real individuals that put it down for theirs and hold it down for the Washington boys. Now, as we maintain ourselves still right here in the low bottoms, like I said, the low bottoms is just an area that is just jam-packed full of a gang of neighborhoods. Now, the next neighborhood up on the list that we have right here, it is known as the Barrio HOB. Barrio HOB, translating to Barrio Hangout Boys. Barrio Hangout Boys is a neighborhood that has already been established right here in the low bottoms in South Central since the 80s that it was established here. And this barrio is roughly a few hundred members to them. Yes, a few hundred. Because they are just not located here in South Central. This is their birthplace, but they're just not here. They're also located in Oregon, Washington, and etc. So they do have homeboys that are located in different states. And they're pretty large in those states as well. Like Oregon, I heard they're pretty deep out there. You know what I mean? So there are a few hundred members, because right here, at least from what I was told, is that they're roughly, a few hundred heads to them here, like 100 and something. Now, the Barrio Hangout Boys is a neighborhood that was established in the 80s, right here on South Central. Their territory is everything that's from Martin Luther King to Grand to Maine, and Maine to Vernon Avenue. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. You know what I'm saying? Throughout Broadway, so that would be like Broadway and 43rd, 42nd, 41st. All of that is what's considered, their barrio, their turf. You know what I mean? Where they've been holding it down. And actually, the reason why this neighborhood was actually started and established is because you had so many different gangs right there, including, black neighborhoods, Cribs and stuff like that. And they used to pick on these individuals before. So these individuals banded together to form their own neighborhood. You know what I mean? And defend themselves, stick up for each other, and that is how, they why they started their neighborhood, you know what I mean? Because they were just a group of boys that used to just hang out, you know what I mean? And that's how they came up with their name, Hangout Boys. You know what I mean? Because right here, like I said, it'd be chaotic, they'd be going at it with several neighborhoods. Now, I was seeing that people were thinking that them and 55th were, like, if they were the same hood. I was being asked, they're actually different hoods. But they're they roll together, like they hang out together, like they have a good relationship with each other. They hang out with each other, they have a good bond, because in that area people have to keep it in mind. You do have much more like larger gangs within the area. Like you have the Playboys right there who hold a dominant presence, and certain other gangs. You have the street villains. You just have several neighborhoods. So since both neighborhoods, were smaller at the time, Hangout Boys and 55th, it just benefited them to have each other's back. Several neighborhoods do this. But yeah, that's what's up with the Hangout Boys, and still continue to represent for theirs. Now, the next barrio up on the list. Now, for this one, we actually have to be, switching locations now, heading our way to the area that is known as Watts. Yeah. You already know Watts is an area that definitely cracks, and they're well known, obviously, because, you have had rappers that have put it on the map for them, and because of the Watts riots, and all the chaos and, shit that be going down within this area. It definitely be treacherous right here in the area of Watts. And we'll be heading towards, to be more specific, close to the iconic, Watts Towers. Everybody's familiar with the Watts Towers. It's one of the, places that people definitely come, view, kind of like a landmark over here. And this is home to one of these, Boy Varrios within this area. You know what I mean? That often, gets forgotten, but is a real neighborhood, and This area is definitely, treacherous and chaotic. It has made, several cameos and obviously, infamous, for their blood set that they have right here. You know what I mean? Because you do have like a lot of black neighborhoods within the area. Now, to be exact, we will be making our way down to the projects, my boy. Yes, the project is home to one of these, barrios. Obviously, the project I'm referring to is a hacienda village. You know what I mean? And this is home to one of these, boy neighborhoods, who actually has to share territory, with the Bloods right there, with the Hacienda Village Bloods. Right here, you have the Barrio Village Boys. So, separate from the Hacienda Village Bloods, this is Village Boys. So, they're not the same gang, it's two different things. I heard individuals try to say, like, no, they have Hispanics in it, and that's how the Hispanics call it. No, they're two different gangs. One's the Hispanic one is the black. Hacienda, you have the Village Bloods and the Village Boys. So, they're not the same thing. And the Village Boys, or is known as, the VB or VBS, you know what I mean? So not to be confused with Violet Boys. The Village Boys is a barrio that has been well established right here since the 80s. Not a large neighborhood. I was told that they're roughly about 80 to about 100 members to them. And this is their home, you know what I mean? This is where they started at. And I believe I was told that they had a good relationship with the Village Bloods before. I don't know how the relationship is now, but before, it seemed like it was all gravy. I don't know about now. But at least that's from what I was told. And the Village Boys territory is obviously right here in the projects. The project that's located on 107th, 107th obviously being the clica that you see them up and representing, all the way to, to the opposite end on 103rd, throughout, like Saxons Avenue, throughout Compton Avenue, so everything that's in the middle, that is what's considered their turf and where they be doing their thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's very chaotic with so many different neighborhoods, but the Village Boys have been right there representing for theirs and still continue to hold it down and put theirs on the map. Oh, and Despensa, don't want the homies to think that I'm leaving them out. As we head back to East Los Angeles, to East LA, where we can find another boys neighborhood. Now, this barrio being a little bit different, only because you can find it established in several different locations. Not just here in East Los Angeles, but they have turf in the SGV in Azusa. They have turf in the area of Watts. And right here where they originated from, their birthplace, where they held it down, right here in East Los Angeles, which is the barrio SBS. East side SBS or south side SBS, depending which area they're coming from. You see the SGV, south side or east side, separating, which branches is which. Now, the SBS boys translating to the barrio Centennial Boys. You know what I mean? Centennial Boys, obviously named after Centennial Street. You know what I mean? Well, Avenue, but you already know, the street, same thing. That is where they get their name from, which is right here in East Los Angeles. Their territory is everything that's from Evergreen to Wabash, all the way to City Terrace Drive to Alma, and all the way to Marungo Street. I think that's how you say it. So everything that's right there is considered their barrio. So like Stone Street, Outwood, all of that. This is where they originated at, and obviously the heart of their hood, their dojo, their domain is obviously on Centennial. You know what I mean? And Ganaho Street. I think that's how you say it. Some of these streets be having some weird ass names. But right here, what was considered Wabash and Centennial is, their home domain. And when they started, this neighborhood was never a large neighborhood, even though they're located in several different locations. They're not like a big gang, because from what I was told is that they're roughly about 80 members, and that's like with their 3 locations. You get what I'm saying? But they hold it down. You know what I mean? These guys ain't no suckers. They've been holding it down since the early 90s, and continue to still be established and holding it down for the Centennial Boys, and still maintaining for theirs. You know what I mean? Like I said, they're a real neighborhood, and they've been right here holding it down. Because I often hear individuals try to say the opposite, but nah. I don't come to wolf it, just come to spit the facts. Those are the facts. But that's what's up with the SBS right there.
Thank you for watching M.O.D Entertainment. Make sure you like and subscribe.